Welcome to the demo of Simple Waterfall, a custom visual in Power BI that allows you to create a multi-step waterfall by using measures that you have defined. To begin the demo, the first thing I'd like to do is to show you how those measures have been created. In this file, I haven't got any data. All the measures have been hard-coded. For example, you can see that the value here has been hard-coded and all the measures work in the same way. This is to show you how this waterfall is created and is not dependent on the data that you have or the data model that you have created. Once you have designed your measures, you can simply create this waterfall in just a few clicks. Before I start creating the visual, let me actually show you some of the values and how this works. So let's start with a simple matrix. Let me drop some measures here, and let me explain you how the data, or the measures in this case, work. So as you can see, this visual here is designed to create a step waterfall, and the values is you have 10 and 15 as your base pillars and 3 and 2 as your steps. So when you add 3 and 2 to 10, you get 15. The name of these measures are not relevant for the visual. You can call them whatever you need to call them. So let's just park this on the side and let's create the visual. So in my case, I've already imported the visual. In your case, if you don't have this visual, you have to import it through the Microsoft App Store. And you can do that by clicking these three dots and say import from marketplace. Let's just click on this visual. Let's just make it a bit bigger and let's just drop these base pillars again here. What you would notice that when I start dropping these visuals, nothing happens. And this is really important to understand. For the visual to know which of your measures are base measures and which are step measures, you need to rename your measures. You can do that by double clicking and add the character underscore in the beginning of the measure. And when I press enter, you would notice what happens. So as you can see, this has been identified. The base pillar 1 measure has been identified as a base measure, and all the other three have been identified as step measures. Clearly, the base pillar 2 is not supposed to be a step measure. So to convert this from a step measure to a base measure, again, we will do the same and add an underscore at the beginning of the measure. And that's it. And that's how simple it is to create a stepped waterfall just by using measures. It's fully responsive as well. Now let's add some of the others. So let's go and add the rest. So let's just add the second level and let's add the next base. Again, in this case, you would have noticed that this is supposed to be a base measure and I can simply go in and add an underscore. And it just creates the next level of the layout. You can also drop all the remaining step measures here, which is what I'm going to do, and go and add the last base pillar and add the underscore. Notice this is a simple, clean, multi-step waterfall using the measures that you have defined. You would also notice that now, because all of these, everything after base pillar 3 and 6 are step measures, I can move them around. And what that means is the order in which this is created is based on the order in which the measures are dropped in the visual. So as an example, if I want my breakdown 5.1, which is here at the moment, to be right at the beginning, I simply drag it and we move it up there. And it automatically creates the view depending upon what we need. Again, if I want 5.1 back to be there, and if I want the 4.1 to actually be in the next, the first step after base pillar 3, you can do that. Let's just bring this back here. You would have noticed that I've not dropped base pillar 4 and 5, which we can now, and create additional steps or breaks in the waterfall. So if I drop this here, I can and do the same here. creating a beautiful stepped waterfall. And that's all you need to do to create this waterfall chart. You would have noticed in the beginning that there's a field for commentary, and this is purely for, it's an optional feature for you to drop any context around the waterfall. Just before I drop this measure, which I've already created, you can see there's some text here. And if I drop this into the graph, you will notice that it adds the commentary at the bottom. Again, an optional feature if you want it. If you have a text or commentary measure, you can. If you don't, you can simply remove it. You don't really need to have it. Now let's move on to some of the formatting options we have on this visual. The obvious one is the sentiment color, and you can see the total, which is the base, the favorables, and the adverse are in the green and red, which are the typical colors, but no reason why you can't change it. So let me just go and change this to black, and you can see you can easily change the sentiment colors of your choice. There are formatting options for x-axis, y-axis, the labels that you see, and the commentary as well. In all the 4 cases, the formatting options are you can change the font size. So you can see you can change the font size, you can change the font color if you want to, and you can also change the font. So you can go in there and do something like that. And then these 3 options are available for y-axis, as well as for labels and for commentary. The labels have one additional formatting feature, which is converting the negative values. Instead of using the negative sign, you can actually convert them into brackets, which is a common practice when you create financial visuals. So you see that when I click on this and activate this, you can see my negative have changed into brackets. And that's it. And that's how you create a really simple waterfall chart and by using measures. Thank you for listening. I hope to receive comments and feedback from you. You can find the link to provide feedback on the App Store when you download the visual. Thank you.